I was not going there because, oh my gosh, I love my hair. No, I was going there because I fucking hated my black roots. I was going there because I didn't want to showcase that. I was going there because I hated my hair, my natural hair that came from my scalp. Hello, beautifuls. My name is Giselle, co-host of the Strong Sunflowers podcast and founder of G is for Growth. And today we're gonna talk about tip number 1 of becoming a strong ass sunflower. If you haven't seen that video, go check out the video prior to this one. It's all about what we do on the podcast to become a strong ass sunflower. There's 5 tips that it will fucking change your life. So make sure that you're subscribed to the podcast. We interview people all about self-growth and their journeys of really becoming who they said they wanted to be and creating the life that they wanted for themselves. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure you subscribe here as well to the channel, and let's dive right into it. Tip number 1 of becoming a strong ass sunflower is knowing the difference between self-love and self-care. And I feel like a lot of people get these interchangeables, and they're not. You can have self-care without self-love, but you can't have self-love without self-care. As you guys know, I'm creating an app. The name of the app is going to be Create, and I'm so excited for it. I'm so excited for it. But that's in the works. That's in the works. I'm just letting you guys have little crumbs of the project. As I dig more into this entrepreneur space, I've been watching a lot of Alex Hormozi, Layla Hormozi, and I just watched a video of Alex getting interviewed by Chris Williamson, and they talked about self-love and the definition to them at this time. Self-love is holding yourself at a higher standard than anyone else. And it really hit me because I was like, that is true. When you truly love yourself, for example, it's gonna be 3 years that I stopped eating meat. I'm a pescatarian. I have fish here and there, but mostly I'm plant-based. And I'm originally from Cuba, so I grew up on pork and picadillo and arroz con pollo and ropa vieja. Oh my gosh, ropa vieja is my favorite. And when I got to the point that it was affecting my health and I could physically see it, I had to choose, okay? Kind of like the smoker. If you smoke out there, if you smoke and they tell you, hey, smoking, and it tells you on the pack all the time, smoking kills. Smoking can give you this, and this, and gives you cancer, it gives you all of these things, and you look at those things and you say, And I know it's an addiction, but I mean, prior to that, you know, you have to have a lot of self-love prior to that as well. And you still say, yeah, you don't have self-love because you are not doing what's best for you. You're not holding yourself at a higher standard. And usually, for the most part, when you know better, you do better. And I think that's what that higher standard means. That self-love is that doing better part. And I stopped eating meat cold turkey. So it was a shock for a lot of people. They were like, what? And some people thought I couldn't do it, but baby, it was cold turkey. And I said, no more. I love myself more than I love red meat, than I love bacon, than I love chicken. None of that. If it's not good for me, I don't want it. And again, I'm not at that level with other things in my life, but I feel like our goal in life should be to get to that level of self-love that you put yourself over anything that can be harmful for you. And I think with the higher standard, it also comes with perspective. You have to have the perspective and the knowledge to choose better. That's why I'm all about microevolution and self-growth and personal development, because when you grow, and also traveling gives you so many perspectives. And even like food, when I go to the Middle East, I can eat anything, all the bread, all the things, and lose weight and feel amazing. And then I come to the States and the food is just like making me foggy and I'm bloated, and I can totally see the difference between the two. So perspective is everything. I think for me, when I truly learned the difference between self-love and self-care was back when I decided to get a divorce. I was separated and it was a lot. Choosing to get a divorce has single-handedly been the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And mentally getting yourself there, especially if you guys don't know, I grew up Mormon. I joined the Mormon church about 12 and I was the only member. So it was truly me just in there and learning and growing. But I feel like a lot of the teachings, they're indoctrinated in us. So growing up is like, don't have sex before marriage, don't do drugs, don't drink. And I still don't do those things now for the most part. But it was really hard for me to separate my divorce from religion. And I was upset and I was pissed because I'm like, God, like, why would you do this to me? I did everything that you asked. I didn't drink, I didn't smoke, I didn't do drugs, I didn't have sex before marriage. I waited, and this is what you give me? Trash work. And I was going through that mental space in my life. And I remember I was like, I'm gonna cut my hair. And you know, if a woman decides to cut or dye her hair, she's gonna change her life. I feel like, especially as a Black woman, we carry so much in our hair, and our hair carries so many of our past lives. And for me in that moment, I didn't have a lot of control of my life and what was going on. And I needed to fixate on what I could control. Even if it was like, hey, I can cut all of my fucking hair off. And it was funny because I got to the hair salon and I was gonna do it. I want to do the buzz cut. And she's like, no, if you're trying to go natural, like, because I just wanted to cut all my permed hair. She's like, you have a pretty good base, because I hadn't permed my hair in a while. So she was like, oh, I don't have to cut it all off. So she cut most of it off. It was still like a teeny weeny little afro. I'll put a picture in here. It's so cute. I miss it. But yeah, I cut my hair off and I felt like such a weight lifted off my shoulders. I felt lighter. I felt like, oh my gosh, I just did this huge thing. Like, especially because we were like obsessed with our hair, and like long hair was what the standard of beauty was. And now I'm here and like, I just really can't like cover with anything. I can't cover who I am, who I want to be, how broken I am. I can't cover it. And I felt like my hair was doing a lot of covering, and I really needed to get out in the field, like the playing field, baby. All out on the table of like, hey, if you're really going to do this self-work, you have to learn how to love yourself and take care of yourself. And after that, we'll put the pieces where they lay, and we'll build again in a stronger foundation. And when I went to go cut my hair, one of the things that popped up from the episode that we did on the Strong Sunflowers podcast, when I would go get those Brazilian blowouts and Dominican blowouts, I was not going there because, oh my gosh, I love my hair. No, I was going there because I fucking hated my Black roots. I was going there because I didn't want to showcase that. I was going there because I hated my hair, my natural hair that came from my scalp. I was going there because I was trying to incorporate some whiteness, right, into my aesthetics. I wanted the flowy hair to go with the wind and straight and the European standard of beauty. That's what I truly wanted, let's be honest. And the more that I was honest with myself about that and self-aware, it just like unbroke so many shackles of like what beauty was supposed to be and who was I at my core and how I was supposed to be building her now. So having that self-love, now I can go to a salon. I haven't straightened my hair since before I did the big chop, but going to the salon now, I think if I do decide to straighten my hair, it's coming from a place of love and because I just want to straighten my hair, but it's not coming from a place of lacking. And I think also when I did cut my hair, it was a representation of the Giselle that got me here won't get me there. And cutting my hair off was literally cutting her off and starting from scratch. And I was just so attached to my hair because it meant the standard of beauty. And I would, as a girl, you know, you're always getting your hair done and all these things. And I heard a Jay Shetty quote that said, detachment doesn't mean you own nothing. It means that nothing owns you. And I was like, oh, damn. I felt that deep. Like, it does not mean that I do not own nothing. It just means that nothing owns me, and my hair does not own me. My hair does not define me. I am beautiful within. I am enough within. And if I'm going to build this new, not even this new persona, if I'm going to go build the real Giselle, I have to have a strong ass foundation of who and what that means and who that is. So yeah, if you are deciding about the big chop, do it. Just cut it off. It really gave me new perspectives about loving myself and what that truly meant to have self-love. And when you have self-love, you take care of yourself no matter what. And that really meant that I had to sit with all the parts of me, even the ugly ones. I had to admit, Giselle, it's not everybody else's fault. How did you fuck up too? I was horrible at communications. I was like, hey, I wasn't able to communicate effectively. That's a flaw. That's a weakness. I need to work on that. I didn't know how to express my feelings. I need to work on that. And I avoided the hard conversations. And I put all that, and that's what I tackled. And I think cutting my hair off and getting all these new revelations, it's what really catapulted my self-growth and self-improvement journey of like, hey, I need to know who I am, the ugly, the bad, the good, all of it. I need to be aware because I can't be triggered by these people. I need to be in control. I'm a Scorpio. I like to be in control. I don't like a lot of variables. So I like a lot of constants, okay? And diving all into this growth and not backing down from the uncomfortable conversations and just the fear and the uncomfortableness of it all. But it's what really has gotten me to where I am today. And I think even moving forward, because I feel like there's levels to this, right? Even moving forward, of the self-care of that part was learning how to set those boundaries, learning how to communicate, learning how to let my feelings out. And I did that. But again, I needed to start with the self-love first. And then moving forward, I got my divorce. And I think literally a couple of weeks after I moved into my friend Xana's house, which I run the podcast with, I met this guy, and that starts a whole other journey of like my 4-year situationship. If you want the tea on that, I have videos on my channel on it. But that was a whole other can of worms of like, because we met each other in our growth period. We were both growing exponentially when we found each other, like in just the beginning stages. So the relationship was, it's because we're still friends. It was really beautiful to see like how we grew with one another and then to where we are today. And I'm so thankful for him and all the knowledge that he brought me. But again, it was a lot to do with me. He taught me a lot about myself. And I got to practice my communication skills. I would always tell him like, hey, you're my guinea pig. I practice communicating my feelings. I practice having the hard conversations. And I think that's what made our relationship really special and really beautiful, is because we both were trying to do the same thing and we practiced with each other. And it was like a safe space to like fail. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, you can't have those feelings. It's like, yes, I can. And I'm going to say them when they happen, and we're gonna have a conversation about it. And yeah, you love me, I love you, perfect. I think with that relationship, and not even relationship, because it was a situationship, but it is what it is. I feel like I learned when I'm in romantic relationships, I self-sacrifice a lot, and it's hard for me to set boundaries, and it's hard for me to say no, because when I love you, and I am all in. Like I love you, and that's not healthy. When you have to sacrifice yourself for someone else, that's not what love is supposed to be. Love is supposed to be peaceful. Now I know, because our love was like that as well. Again, we were learning with a lot of each other, right? So it was the good and the learning pains, but also we created some beautiful moments. And that moving forward in my next relationship, that's what I want it to be. But even the relationship, I found myself sacrificing to the point that it was not suiting me. It was not beneficial to me. And I feel like moving forward, I've learned that if loving someone else means that I'm not loving myself, then it's not love. I can't do it. I can't be in a relationship that I have to hate me or unlove me or not be there for me to love you. And if you're in that kind of relationship, I would suggest you get the fuck out, because you can't do it. You just like you can't pour from an empty cup, you cannot love somebody if it's against loving yourself. And I found that in some of the instances, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, why did I let that happen? Oh, it's because I didn't have self-love. And again, it was like levels to this, right? It's not just like, oh my gosh, I don't have any self-worth. Like, no, I had self-worth, but there's levels to this. And in that level, I hadn't mastered it yet. I couldn't see those triggers in me or those reactions of the way that I acted when I was in a romantic relationship. Because I had mastered telling my platonic friends, like, setting boundaries, saying no, all these things, but it was harder. Again, another level when it came to a romantic partner. And I know I've talked about this before, but for the new watchers, I remember the breaking point for me was my 27th birthday. I was in Capri, Italy, and the clock turns 12 and I'm bawling. I am just crying. I'm so sad. I'm just like, I just want to go home. Like, I just felt in such a limbo because we were situationship and not a real relationship. And I was like, why does this man love me the way that I want to be loved, or the way that I need to be loved? But he says he loves me. He does the things to prove that he loves me, but he doesn't want a relationship with me, and his words and actions. It was just like a hot mess. And I remember, like, I felt my higher self like hug me, and it's like, you are home. I'm home. So I have to make sure that I'm good. I don't deserve limbo. You have to go back to yourself, right? Self-love is going back to yourself, like we talked about it, and really creating that foundation of who you are, what do you want, and what do you want to show up as, and what are your core values. And when you have that always go back to that. If whatever you're doing is not supporting your core values, then you know it's not wrong. I am not here to be anybody's side chick. I'm not here to be anybody's situationship. I am a wife. I am a mother. I am a business owner. I am an entrepreneur. I am a content creator. I am those things. And I truly have to believe it in my core. And I deserve respect. I deserve loyalty. I deserve freedom. I deserve all of those things. And if anything goes against that, whether in friendships, business, relationships, I'm not about it. And now I'm in the space again. Woo! We passed that level of self-love, and now we're in a new level of self-love that, damn, the view from here, baby, you need this in your life, okay? The view from here is like, knowing what you want, knowing that you're not settling for anything less. I love it. 10 out of 10 recommend. 10 out of 10 recommend. But yes, the difference between self-love and self-care is so important. And if you're in your growth journey right now, baby, start there. Start with tip number 1, and then work your way up as you go through the levels. And I promise you, you will get to where you want to get. But if you like this video, make sure that you subscribe, because right up next, we have tip number 2 on becoming a strong ass sunflower, which is all about setting boundaries and saying no. If you're all into that, go check it out. I love you guys. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Ciao.